Good morning. I would ask you now to take a nice deep breath in and make the ah sound. Let the breathing come back to normal. I'm so happy to see you today, and I want to talk about a few things. And but before we do, I want to frame this conversation by recognizing that we have to step into equanimity. Equanimity doesn't mean that you want things to go the way they are, but that you realize that your life is still equally as lovable now as it was before these horrible events of this last week occurred. I'm asking you to take a step back and recognize that you're not just the participant of the drama of your life, you are also the observer of the drama. You're not just that one important and crucial character, you're the whole production. The whole production has been put on for you. So I would like to start off with that. I also want to start off with the statement of how much faith I have in you. How much faith I have in you, humanity. And I'm going to tell you what. If you really knew anything about me, you would say that was miraculous. But this is an adventure. This is an adventure, and as with any adventure, you have to have a little bit of distance to have an enjoyment of it. If you saw the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark and took it too realistically, it would not be fun. We have to be with this and give it the enormity that it deserves, but to recognize that it's so enormous that we can't handle it unless we make it smaller. It's too much going on. It matters too much. Minneapolis is in a very real sense being destroyed. Not just physically. The polis, you remember like the Greek polis? Athens, Sparta, Minneapolis. The polis was a spiritual thing that, Athens, Athena. We are having the spiritual fabric of our community destroyed. And that's at least as damaging as the buildings burning. I'm just telling you the truth. In my perception. This is perception. I can tell you that I believe it so much that I'm doing things that are completely out of character because it really makes me nervous to be, I'm going to rephrase that. It doesn't make me nervous. The way I have the consistency, the habitual pattern of approaching it makes me nervous. Because I learned a long time ago it wasn't safe to be known. So we have a gift coming. It's a gift, but we have to choose it. It's the gift of being able to stand for what you really believe. That's a gift to you. It's a gift of being able to stand up and have those ethics. What was that all a joke? Truth, happiness, an American way? Well, it was all a joke, but it wasn't always a joke to everybody because those things had value, and they still do. It never had value to some people. You think it had value to slave owners? They didn't think about us. Or Bull Connor? What kind of American you want to be? You want to be Bull Connor? That's American. As American as apple pie. As American as giving smallpox-infested blankets. Yes. America is an individual. America's an individual who's done wonderful things and horrible things. We as Americans are changing the fabric of the world right now. It's not just us. And by the way, it's important to be able to feel the edge of this and not get consumed by the fire. Rage? I've been seeing this bumper sticker for years. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. Well, I'm paying a lot of attention. But I understand something about rage. Rage is what allows people to get lynched. Rage allows you to do things you would never do in your life. Rage is a raging fire. That means it's out of control. So we have to come at it a whole different way. We have to have the flexibility to deal with each other. We have to be incredibly flexible. I can't tell you how hurt I am right now. But it's time for us to stand up and pull ourselves back together. We are Americans. There is an underlying mythos. When I was growing up, I think just when I was growing up, I loved the Andy Griffith Show. Love that show. Barney, Floyd. The whole show is so wonderful. Even the parts that I would not be able to fly now, like for instance, Otis letting himself into the jail because he's drunk again. None of that stuff would fly now. But you know one thing that's funny about Mayberry? Ain't no black people there. None. I believe Mayberry is set in North Carolina. You know anything about North Carolina? Lots of black people. Isn't that interesting? But none in this town, in this fictional town. That's what they say about wanting to make it great again. They're trying to create a fantasy that's never been. So, I really want to understand, I really want to express to you how delighted I am that we are at this point. Not delighted because I'm happy, because that I'm so not happy about it. I can't tell you how devastating this has been for me. But I've been training for this my whole life. I've been training to be equally as calm as the person I was dealing with was irrational. I've been training to really, really listen very, very intently when I'm angry with someone, because I know that when you're angry that you don't really hear what other people are saying. I've been training to do what my daughter said to me. She said, "Dad, one thing I really appreciate about you is that you always improve." I really try. I really do. I don't try. I intend to. I intend to not be stuck with things that give me power over others, like my size and my ability to become angry. That's just a cheat. So I'm delighted because I know this is an opportunity for us. This is an opportunity for us to become what we're really about. If you're Christian, please don't talk to me about being Christian anymore if you don't talk about what Jesus said. Please. I'm not interested. Not that I'm not. I know I'm not your audience, but I understand that. This is a time to be delighted. Delight. Inner light. This is a time to be delighted. This is a time to shine your light out. There's never been a more important time than this. Some of you have seen me speak before, and I tell the story about when I fell into a swimming pool as a small child. And I fell in, there was no one around, and my clothes were on, my tennis shoes were on, and I sank to the bottom. I couldn't swim at all. And I sank to the bottom, and I was fortunate enough, when I hit the bottom, I pushed off with my feet, and I shot back in the other direction. I yanked myself out of that pool. And I laid there with all my clothes on. I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old, but I knew it right then that if I hadn't reached the bottom, I wasn't going to get out. The bottom was my opportunity to go in a different direction. We've bottomed out. No, but the thing about hitting the bottom was funny, though, because when you sink down and you hit the bottom, be careful you're not on a ledge. Because if you hang out on the bottom there too long and walk around there at the bottom, you may find out that there's another level that you can get to. You might fall off another cliff and go even deeper. And we have the opportunity to go even deeper still. So it's time for you to choose what kind of American you want to be. Do you want to be a Bull Connor? Or do you want to be a Martin Luther King? Do you want to be someone who just stays stuck? Or do you want to be a Malcolm X? Malcolm X arc, by the way, he always had lucidity throughout his elements. When you see those early speeches and he talks about, the plight of black people. But you know what about Malcolm X? He changed. In the course of his life, as his relationship changed, he understood that we were one. We are one humanity. This world blows up, we blow up together. I'm sorry I'm angry today. It's okay. But don't just project the anger. And please, everyone, it's okay. When you're in the Titanic, we don't need to go over every mistake we've ever made. Plenty of you made mistakes with me, I can tell you. And I made mistakes with others too. Let's stop acting so self-righteous. Let's pull together and find what makes America great right now. And it's not division. I don't know if you realize how courageous it is to have great fear and still act. I've been afraid my whole life. That was the gift of America to me and to my family. But let's put away the holier than thou thing. I've seen more horrific stuff that black people have done. I mean, I've seen it from everybody. Asian people, please, Chinese people, stop acting superior. You've done enough bad things around the world. Japanese people, British, German. America is the grown-up child of all of you. And if it's messed up, it's because we had a messed up childhood. I don't want to leave you with just this, though. Let's do a little practice. Now, I want to encourage you to do practice every single day, no matter how strongly you feel. Because the more strongly you feel about an emotion, the more intensely you feel it, you will have some part of you that adheres to it. Now, understand that when you identify with something, some part of you wants to continue it, to perpetuate it. People who are angry don't ever want to not be angry. They want to get angrier. Because that's what the emotion has influenced them. Fear wants to become terror. Resentment wants to become anger, and anger wants to become hatred. Because when we intensify these states, we become more adhered to them. None of this is you. You are not your body, you're not your drama, you're not your emotions, and you're not your narrative. This is not you. So every day, do some practice. Every single day of your life. Understand, we're going into very, very challenging waters that are unseen. What is going to be your greatest advisor? The heart? Or an imaginary sense of reality? What's real? Or a horrific version of Mayberry. Sitting up tall, chest is up. No matter how strong you feel, you have to jump into immersive practice. Take a nice breath in. Pause. Exhale. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Take a deep breath in. Big sigh. So thank you, my friends. Thank you for this day. Thank you no matter what happens. We got this. No matter what happens. I love us. I love humanity. I love the whole wide world just as it is. So I'm delighted, and I'm it's really wonderful to get together with you. Thank you for the adventure. Remember, do practice today. don't fall deeper. Now, I'd like to say to you that America represents something for the whole wide world. And we're starting to represent something horrific for the whole wide world. At this point, we're like a guy who lives on your block, who's got tons of guns, who has an extremely bad temper and seems irrational. But that's not all we are. We also represent the possibility of not being stuck in the same place all the time. The possibility that you can go on, that you're not an untouchable. Bring my hands to prayer position. And I bow to you. I bow to the people of the Powder Hole neighborhood. And the amazing thing, my all-time favorite neighborhood, the kindness and compassion. I bow to all those brave people who are doing all they can on the front lines of COVID and all those, wonderful people who are working around the clock trying to save the city. I bow to the firemen. I also bow to the good police because they're not all that man.